Tonight we have breaking news. Severe storm set to hit the Northeast. We're tracking it right now. Also horrific images coming in at this hour. There's been a deadly police shooting, an officer among the dead. And news tonight on Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, what we've now learned. First tonight, these severe storms now taking aim at the Northeast. Multiple deadly tornadoes already, thunderstorms, large hail, damaging winds. Ginger Z standing by live with the forecast. And the air quality concerns in Los Angeles at this hour, the massive fire still burning. Tonight, news on Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, the disturbing new turn. What ABC News has learned about a note sent to the family. Tonight, the U.S. and Iran, and for the first time in years, the U.S. now allowing Iran to sell oil on the open market. What Vice President J.D. Vance says Iran has now agreed to do, but what Iran is now saying tonight. This evening, what President Trump is now claiming about the reflecting pool at the National Mall. After $16 million in taxpayer money was spent to paint and renovate the pool just weeks ago. Tonight, the alarming video showing a Tesla crashing right into a home, killing a grandmother inside the home. The driver says he was using autopilot, the driver assist technology. Tonight, the tributes to a titan of the music industry, Clive Davis, remembering the first time he heard Whitney Houston perform. From Whitney Houston to Bruce Springsteen to Barry Manilow, he shaped so many careers. The major shakeup tonight in the UK, the British Prime Minister stepping down, the 6th Prime Minister in 7 years. The massive explosion at a fireworks stand, neighbors calling 911. Tonight, the cheers that can be heard in Texas, Lionel Messi making history. Also tonight, the airport that will soon be renamed after President Trump, and the police drone that found the suspect and took the weapon right out of his hand, and you'll see it.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with breaking news. There are severe storms moving across the Northeast at this hour. More than 60 million Americans under alerts tonight for dangerous winds, thunderstorms, and possible flash flooding. Heavy downpours and winds gusting up to 70 miles per hour from Washington, D.C. up to Philadelphia. That system then pushing into New York. Just a short time ago, torrential rains unleashing on Philadelphia, suspending play at the World Cup match being held there. Fans told to seek shelter. It comes, of course, after deadly tornadoes, more than 50 reported tornadoes, this one right here in Dix, Illinois. And there's a major fire still burning in Los Angeles at this hour, a state of emergency now declared. But first, the severe storms moving into the Northeast, and Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z leads us off.
Tonight, severe storms threatening 60 million people across the Northeast and South, triggering torrential rain, damaging winds, and travel chaos. Meteorologist Danny Beckstrom at our New York station WABC tracking the storms.
The evening has been active. We're still seeing widespread showers, a thunderstorm threat, and flood concerns.
More than 600 flights already canceled. Thunderstorms causing ground stops and hours-long delays at New York's JFK and LaGuardia airports.
Oh my God, guys, this is a violent tornado.
It's the same system that sparked a deadly tornado outbreak in the Midwest. More than 50 reported tornadoes tearing across 9 states since Friday. At least 3 people killed, including 2 in Jefferson County, Illinois. Authorities confirming late today it was an EF3 with 140-mile-per-hour winds.
We were trapped in it, and the 2 other homes that were destroyed, they didn't make it.
To the east, in Newburgh, Indiana, terrifying video showing this tornado. Ripping through a neighborhood, damaging apartment buildings. In this clip, a tornado tossing backyard furniture like toys. And in Oklahoma, a devastating derecho racing across El Reno, unleashing winds up to 90 miles per hour, destroying homes and toppling trees. Sherry Martin's home shredded.
That was our kitchen. Our roof is laying in the backyard.
Another unsettled night ahead. We're thinking about all those families who were hit over the weekend. Let's get right back to Ginger Z. She's got the forecast for us. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. There are severe thunderstorm warnings from Twin Rivers, New Jersey to Greensboro, North Carolina as we speak, and that is marching east. But we also have severe thunderstorm watches that have had embedded tornadoes, confirmed even in parts of Wyoming and Nebraska. Flood watches from Louisiana up to West Virginia, because these storms are carrying with them 2-inch-per-hour rainfall rates or even greater. So let's time it out, because tonight we still have quite a few of those strong to severe storms on the map through Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and that's going to be the case. We started the clock there at 8 p.m. where Atlantic City's getting blasted. forecasted. And then through midnight, you could see some strong storms, even through noon tomorrow. It's going to be a wet start, Washington, D.C., New York to Boston. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, Denver stays in that new storm with severe weather possible too, David.
We can see those darkening skies behind you as well. Ginger, we'll see you first thing in the morning on GMA. Thank you. Tonight, meanwhile, firefighters in Los Angeles on the scene of a major warehouse fire, still burning 6 days straight now. Now, real concern over air quality. Neighbors have been told to shelter in place. And Governor Gavin Newsom tonight declaring a state of emergency. Let's go to Melissa Adon.
David, there are air quality concerns all across Los Angeles, and it's due to this massive warehouse fire you see here burning. So many of these firefighters are tackling these flames. It has been burning since last Wednesday. We're talking about a massive complex, about 500,000 square feet with solar panels on top of the roof. Now, the company believes the fire started while contractors were actually on top testing those solar panels. Well, inside 85 million pounds of decaying food is burning. Neighbors here told to shelter in place. Now, there is a state of emergency that has been issued to help this fire response, but crews here say that the air is now toxic. David?
6 days straight, just extraordinary. Melissa Adon on the scene for us. Thank you. There's also news tonight on Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, 5 months after she vanished from her Tucson home. What ABC News has now learned about a note sent to the family. Here's Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, nearly 5 months after Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home by a masked man in the middle of the night, ABC News can disclose the contents of a second ransom note the family received in the days after she vanished. The first note demanded millions in cryptocurrency. Sources tell ABC News the second note claimed Guthrie had died shortly after she was taken and was buried in nature, something her daughter Savannah Guthrie may have been referencing days later in an Instagram post.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
The FBI believes the two notes came from the same sender, but investigators have so far been unable to determine who that is.
I believe the two notes that we received, that we responded to, I tend to believe those are real.
Investigators are still trying to identify the armed, masked man seen lurking at Nancy Guthrie's front door. They're also testing a hair found at the home and a mixed DNA sample, hoping those clues will lead to her kidnapper. Nobody's giving up, David. There's still $1 million reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie's recovery. David?
We are pulling for Savannah and her family, always. Marin, thank you. Tonight, the U.S. and Iran, the Trump administration claiming progress in the peace talks. And now, for the first time in years, the U.S. is now allowing Iran to sell oil on the open market. What Vice President J.D. Vance says Iran has agreed to do involving nuclear inspectors, but what Iran is saying tonight. Mary Bruce at the White House.
After his threats nearly derailed peace talks over the weekend, tonight President Trump taking a more measured tone.
As long as they respect us, we're going to be fine.
Tonight, in a significant move, the U.S. temporarily lifting oil sanctions on Iran, letting them sell oil openly for the first time in years, which could bring them tens of billions of dollars. Vice President J.D. Vance, who led the talks over the weekend, says he got a big concession out of Iran, that they will now allow international nuclear inspectors into the country.
That is a major milestone for the American people and the first step in permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran.
But that promise of nuclear inspectors was the same promise made under President Obama's deal that Trump tore up. And despite Vance's words, Iranian state media reports Iran has made no new nuclear commitments. And David, the vice president, is now on his way back to the U.S. These talks are continuing, but when it comes to the future of Iran's nuclear program, it's clear there's still a long way to go. David.
Mary Bruce live at the White House tonight. Mary, thank you. We turn now to the reflecting pool on the National Mall, what President Trump is now claiming after $16 million in taxpayer money was spent to paint and renovate the pool, who the president is now blaming. And here's Elizabeth Schulze.
Tonight, the iconic reflecting pool under tight security, police on horseback, the National Guard on patrol, and newly installed cameras. It's been just 2 weeks since the $16 million taxpayer-funded renovation. The blue paint already peeling. The water green with algae. The pool could soon be drained for repairs. President Trump recently promised the renovated pool would last for years.
You would be very proud of, and it'll last for 50 to 100 years before you have to do anything.
Today, he blamed the damage on vandals, but provided no evidence.
They cut it very violently.
He claims someone slashed the bottom of the pool and pulled up the paint.
We have I think 290, 300 foot slit right through it, probably a box cutter or a knife of some kind.
He said vandals were also to blame for the algae blooms.
Somebody said fertilizer in the water. If you put fertilizer in the water, you get algae.
Reporters pressing the president.
National Guard and police have been all over the mall. How would these vandals have gotten so close to do something like that?
Do you have any proof of it? I mean, we didn't have a lot of them then. Who would think that somebody would go into a pool and take a knife and start cutting it?
David, the president says 5 people have been arrested. We've asked multiple agencies, including the Department of the Interior and the U.S. Park Police, for evidence of vandalism. Nothing yet. And again, David, we are now learning that the price tag for this renovation is much higher than we thought, more than $16 million in taxpayer money. David?
Elizabeth Schulze tonight. Elizabeth, thanks. Now to the alarming video showing a Tesla crashing into a home outside Houston in Katy, Texas, killing a grandmother inside that home. Here's Matt Rivers.
This is the moment a driver alleges he was using autopilot in a Tesla when the car smashed into a house outside of Houston, Texas, killing 76-year-old grandmother Martha Avila inside the home.
I literally walked out of the room, went to my computer, and I heard the crash.
Avila's family, including her daughter and young grandchildren, also home. Miraculously, they were not injured. Tonight, the NHTSA launching a special investigation into the deadly crash, the agency's most in-depth and detailed level of inquiry. According to authorities, the driver said he was using Tesla's automated driving assistance system, or driver assist mode, at the time of the crash. Police say the car was traveling at a high rate of speed. Moments before the crash, doorbell camera footage appears to show the Model 3 racing down a road through an intersection around 8:30 p.m. Friday before slamming into the house. Avila was transported by life flight to the hospital, where she was later pronounced deceased. The driver was also taken to the hospital. Authorities say he did not show signs of intoxication. David, Tesla did not respond to our requests for comment. The company's website, though, says that Tesla's automated driver assistance programs do not make their cars fully capable of self-driving, and that drivers need to be attentive at all times. David?
Matt Rivers on this tonight. Matt, thank you. Tonight, the tributes pouring in to a titan of the music industry, Clive Davis, who helped so many careers, from Whitney Houston to Bruce Springsteen to Barry Manilow and so many others. He was a force. Here's Deborah Roberts.
He was the visionary who discovered Whitney Houston and so many more. Party was the hottest ticket in the business, and he was there until the end, basking in the glow of the world he says he still loved.
This gift of music that I never expected to be part of my life became my passion. I'm blessed and truly so gratified.
Incredible life and career. We also learned today that former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan has died at 100. He served nearly 2 decades as chairman of the Federal Reserve. The Economist guided America through economic booms and major struggles. His wife of 29 years, NBC's Andrea Mitchell, calling him a giant of a man who helped shape the U.S. economy. Being his life partner, she said, was the joy of my life. Greenspan died from complications of Parkinson's. He was 100. Remembering Alan Greenspan and Clive Davis. Thanks to Deborah Roberts. When we come back here tonight, the airport that will soon be renamed after President Trump. Also tonight, the New York City boy made famous on the milk carton. There is news tonight in the case of Aton Pates, what we've learned. Also, the police drone sent to find a suspect. That drone then taking the weapon right out of the suspect's hand. Also tonight, cheers across Texas. Lionel Messi making history there. And the massive explosion, neighbors calling 911. What was behind this right here? In a moment, we'll be right back. To other news tonight, the case of the missing New York City boy making national news for decades. Tonight, the Supreme Court reinstating the murder conviction in the 1979 disappearance of 6-year-old Aton Pates. Pedro Hernandez serving 25 years to life in prison. Pates vanished while walking to the school bus, among the first missing children to appear on a milk carton. In Sacramento, deputies using a drone to find a suspect and take the weapon right out of his hand. That drone helping to track him down, hiding in a garage, allegedly with that weapon, the drone equipped with a magnet, able to pull the knife from his hand before his arrest. An airport in Florida will officially be renamed for President Trump. Officials at Palm Beach Airport say as of July 9th, the facility will be called President Donald J. Trump International Airport. That change taking effect after Governor Ron DeSantis signed a renaming bill back in March. When we come back in the broadcast, a massive explosion, neighbors calling 911, but these were quite the pictures. And you can hear the cheers across Texas today. Lionel Messi making history tonight. To the index of other news, quite an explosion at a fireworks stand in northeast Oklahoma. Take a look, bursts of color and smoke, neighbors calling 911, witnessing the fireworks shooting in all directions. The people working are okay at that stand. Still no word, though, tonight would spark this fire. To the World Cup, Lionel Messi making history tonight, becoming the World Cup's all-time top scorer. Messi setting the record with goal number 17 in today's match against Austria, then extending his lead with an 18th goal later on, playing in Arlington, Texas to cheers, leading Argentina to a 2-0 win. Toy Story 5 taking the #1 spot on its opening weekend at the box office, $160 million in domestic ticket sales. The Disney Pixar film clinching the highest domestic debut of the year. When we come back here tonight, Clive Davis in his own words, what he said about the first time he heard Whitney Houston perform. This was something. Before we go tonight, Clive Davis, he knew talent when he heard it, and what he told ABC News the moment he first heard a young Whitney Houston.
The time that I first saw her, when I hear that name, Whitney Houston, I saw her singing in her mother's act in a club called Sweetwater's right here in Manhattan. And she came out to sing. It was such a stunning impact. To hear this young girl breathe such fire, such life into this song, I mean, it really sent the proverbial tingles up my spine.